Hi everyone, welcome to our new series called Anna's Nail Advice. I hope you are enjoying it. We're getting a lot of interest and I have a chance to cover very important topics, so I'm super excited about this series. So today is a very important episode, and this episode is about allergic reactions to gel polishes. And we have one of the viewers who sent me these pictures that I'm going to show you, and this is what's happened to her. So we can see these are blisters and redness. This is her nails now, but as you can see, okay, let's go this way. Okay, let's go from the beginning. So here you can see definitely not a good looking situation. Also, so not only blisters, but separation from the nail bed. More blisters. Healing process. So these blisters eventually, they will dry. And that's what happens. The worst nail was this one. And healing process. So these ones are drying. And these are her nails now. So I'm going to give you a background. It's a little bit long, but please stay with me to the end of this video, and please share this video with people that you know, because this is a very common thing, and I feel that things are getting worse right now, and I will explain why. Okay, I've been doing gel polish at home for at least 2 years exactly. And this is why I don't recommend ever doing gel polish at home unless you have proper training. And it's not because I want to hog the business to myself, it's just I truly believe that this is very misunderstood procedure, and majority of people will end up with permanent issues from gel polishes. And I've seen way too many allergic reactions that become permanent, so I absolutely don't recommend it. And the training out there is not the best, even for professionals. So to be honest with you, that really turned me off from doing gel polish. In general, what I've seen is just way too much. It's horrible out there. So generally, I don't recommend it. The only product that I'm using right now, after seeing what's going on out there, I use C&D shellac, and there are pros and there are cons to this system, but it's a pretty hypoallergenic product, and out of all the products that are on the market, I feel semi-confident in this procedure. So going back to the start, around February, my ring finger nails on both hands started to feel weird. They got white by the ends and disconnected from the nail bed. So she got onycholysis, and the structure of the nail became much drier. So I took polish off and gave the nails around 2 weeks with no polish. Most of the damage grew out by that time. So anytime you are properly trained in gel polish, that would be a huge red flag. And when people don't know these things, they don't think anything of it, right? So they don't understand what's happening. So anytime I have a new client that comes in, or just generally, I talk about this with my clients, and I ask them, if they come in first time, I ask them, have you ever had any redness to any nail polish? Have you ever had any allergic reactions? Have your nails ever felt weird after application of any type of product? And then I explain why I'm asking these questions, and I tell my clients that if in case anything happens, please let me know right away. Don't think that that's normal, because it's not normal. And, you know, thankfully, I only have had in the 25 years of doing gel, but gel polish has been very popular lately, well, for the last 10 years. I've only seen one client that was allergic to a product, and she came, long story, but she came from another salon with existing allergic reaction. I suspected it, and I used hypoallergenic product, and she told me that she still had a reaction after that. Not as bad, but I told her, you know what, from now on, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. And we took the product off, and that was it for her, because once that happens, usually it happens eventually with any products, and it can get really bad. So I didn't want to risk it. Anyway, going back to this. After 2 weeks, I tried to do a gel manicure again, but after 2 hours, after the skin around all my fingers became red and itchy. So what happens with allergic reactions, usually it gets worse, like I just mentioned. It calmed down after a day or two, so I didn't think anything of it, although the skin around the nails started to peel. Then I noticed that my fingers are actually really swollen and little blisters form all around each nail. That's when I finally removed the polish. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, so let's see what else she was saying. Waited another 2 weeks or so. My nails and fingers got much better, so I tried doing gel polish again. And after 2 hours, all fingers were red and itchy. Again, it just gets worse. I removed the polish immediately. And she was using very low quality polish from, I don't want to call names, whatever. Most of all, I was removing the gel harshly and peeled it off by force most of the times. And again, the issue that was happening, it was not because of how you were removing it, but it was because of other things that we will explain later. So not understanding why this is happening is causing people to kind of get deeper and deeper into this problem. And to a degree, I feel really bad because sadly, the companies are selling the product because it's an irresponsible thing, to be honest with you. I think that a company, in order to sell a product like that, should do some kind of very, very good training. I mean, it's not a brain surgery. It's just simple, very easy to understand information. But that is just lacking, and this should be required for people to buy the gel polish. These products seriously are highly, highly allergenic. So this really should be explained to the client, but it's not. It's basically in a small print. It just says, if you develop redness and blah, blah, discontinue the use. But they don't explain why this is happening. And people should know before they apply it, because they can completely stop that before happening. So she's saying, I have exact same polish on my toenails with no problem, so I wasn't sure if the reaction was allergy. Yes, 100% it is. I ordered normal brand of gel polish. I don't know, maybe she means like a better quality. And I tried to do it on a healthy nail. It was perfectly fine for 3 days, and then I removed it. I'm still hoping I would be able to come back to gel polish once my hands healed. And I'll explain why I don't think it's such a good idea. Very sadly, no, I don't think it's a good idea at all. Currently, most of my nails feel normal, not too hard, not too soft, but I have some nails that reacted the worst, especially left thumb. They're actually extremely soft and at the very base of the nail. I don't want to scare you, and it's not about this person, but just generally, some people actually have permanent disfigurement from this. I've seen such bad reactions to clients that completely cured me. I used to love testing different products. That completely cured me from testing anything anymore. I just went back straight to shellac, and I'm like, if that happens to one of my clients, I would die. Really, really bad. And the sad thing is right now is that it's not a gradual thing like you see with this person. With some products, it happens, it's good, boom, like really, really bad reaction, basically nails coming off the fingers, like it's horrible. And I'm not, scaremongering, this is for real. Let's go back to this. So some of the nails now have darker reddish color from about half to the free edge, and this darker part is textured. The nail doesn't feel smooth, because sometimes the matrix could be even damaged. Please see the pictures attached. They are horrible, and luckily my hands don't look like this now, but I would definitely like to warn the impatient ladies out there who remove gel polish the same way I did not to do so, and to take regular breaks from nail polish. Again, this is bad advice. And again, I'm not kind of picking on this person, because obviously you were not told what to do. You were told, oh yeah, just use it, just cure it in a lamp, and just remove it properly, then you'll be fine. So what's happening is that this is not happening because you peeled off the product, and definitely peeling off is not a good idea, but it happens because you got allergic to the product, and I will explain exactly why this is happening and how to prevent it. And so this is not about you being impatient. It could be the product, it could be how you used it, and it could be both. and to take regular breaks from polish. And no, because if you are using a good product and if you are using it correctly, you can go your whole life using gel polish and you'll be perfectly fine. If you are using incorrect product and you're using incorrect technique, then no amount of breaks are going to help you, because that can happen at any time. It's like a ticking bomb, right? So let's kind of explain on what's going on, why this is happening. So what's happening is that, like I mentioned, this is allergic reaction, but allergic reaction doesn't happen out of the blue because one day you just get allergic to it. And that's what very often even salons will say, oh yeah, too bad, you're allergic to the products now. Yes, you are allergic, but why are you allergic? You are allergic now because you are overexposed to the product. And how do you get overexposed to the product? So I hope this is a little complicated, but it's super interesting. So I hope you will stay with me. So normally you are told that any lamp will do, that product, it doesn't matter how the product is cured, and you can just pick up any product and just cure it in any lamp, because they are selling those lamps that are like generic lamps, which is a bad idea. So how do products cure and how they will make you allergic to them? So what happens is, gel polishes especially, we didn't see as many allergic reactions in the past when people used clear or those kind of very sheer gels, because they cured very differently. Since the LED cure came on the market, so LED still produces UV light, but it's just a different bulb. The other bulbs, the old bulbs and the big lamps, if you remember it, they actually cured, they had a very wide spectrum of UV. So they went from, I don't know, I can't remember, like 200 to I think 400 or something like that, nanometers. So, and then the LED bulbs came on the market. So LED is a type of bulb. So you have a traditional bulb and you have LED bulb. LED is not a type of light. It's a type of bulb that produces also UV. But the initial the initial LED bulbs were producing a light in a slightly different spectrum. So they were producing lights in around 4 or 5 or 395 to 4 or 5 nanometers. So they were a little bit higher. So those rays are necessary to cure usually the colored gel polishes. Now there are also LED bulbs that are 360 nanometers, so they are not all the same. And the thing is, the quality of the bulbs always matters. So when you are buying like just some random lamp from a random company, you don't know what kind of light this bulb produces. So gel polishes are a very, and I know that from chemists, they're very, very complicated products to produce. So you have a chemical that's called photoinitiators in the product to react with the light and to cure the product. And now different products will have different photoinitiators. So you don't know which is which. So you don't know which matches which. And now the problem is that many people will say, well, they will stick the hand under the lamp and they will say, oh yeah, they look at the gel polish and it's shiny, it's not sticky anymore, or however, whatever, they wipe it, it's shiny, and they're like, oh, it's cured. The problem is that the gel will look cured, will look shiny and hard when it's cured up to 50%. So you have still 50% that's uncured and it's still reactive. So normally you cannot be allergic to a cured product, properly cured product. You are getting overexposed and allergic to uncured product. That's why they always tell you don't touch the skin, whatever, when you're working with these wet products. After that, it doesn't really matter. But the thing is, you will never know by looking at the product if the product is cured 50, 60, 70, 80% or 90%. You will never know. The product has to be produced by a responsible company that will actually look under the microscope and will say, okay, let's just put this product under the LED bulb, and this particular bulb, and we will see how long it takes, and then slice the product however they do it and see in which percentage the product is cured. Now, also, it's important how thick overcoats are being used, because the product needs to penetrate, the light has to penetrate the product in order to cure. So it's quite kind of complicated, right? So what's happening is, so this is first, the product was not cured properly, and you got exposed. Sometimes it takes one time, sometimes it depends on your immune system, sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 times, and eventually your body says, okay, I've had enough of this product, no more. And this is what happens. Blisters happen and redness happens. So somehow you got exposed to, we're going to do this investigation, okay? So somehow you got exposed to uncured product. Now, these products, gels, are especially difficult to deal with because they're very, very sticky, and they will stay on surfaces on the bottles. So when you touch it, it just will go all over the place, the uncured product. So probably, most likely, the product was not cured properly, because either you used the wrong lamp, or you didn't cure it long enough, or the product sometimes was not even formulated properly to cure properly. So that's one thing. The product somehow got on your skin, uncured product. And it can get there in many different ways. It can get there when you are wiping the gel after it's cured, and you are actually taking alcohol. So gel cures with inhibition layer, like the sticky layer. What happens is the portion of the gel that is exposed to oxygen never cures properly, and that's the sticky layer. You should never ever touch that sticky layer. You should make sure that you wipe it away from the skin. So you saturate the pad with alcohol, proper alcohol, 99% or 96% alcohol, and then you wipe this away to make sure it's squeaky clean, that it's not on your skin. I always wipe that layer, uncured layer, twice, because I want to make sure that there is nothing left around the skin. But what I see what people do is somehow the gel gets on their hands, then they're touching the fingers, and especially when you're doing your own nails, it's not easy to do your own nails. So somehow it got on your skin, either this way, even if it didn't get it on your skin this way. If the gel was not cured properly, when you are removing it, so when you were soaking it off, the uncured gel mixed with the acetone and just soaked into your skin. That reactive gel just sat on your skin for like 10 minutes or however long you were you were soaking the gel. Either got it that way, and so then we think, oh, okay, well then if I don't have to soak, I'm gonna file it off. Well, guess what? That dust that is produced by filing sits on your skin, and this is how you get exposed to it. So you don't have to smear the gel on your skin or touch, because normally what people think is that you have to touch the skin when you are polishing the gel, and that's absolutely that's usually not how it happens. It happens when the product is removed, or it happens when the product is removed, or it happens when you are wiping the sticky layer. Now, some people say, okay, well then I'm gonna use the non-wiping top coat. That must be better. No, because those top coats have certain chemicals that are usually a little bit harsher, and even those top coats, they still have some sticky layer. So eventually, you just don't feel it. But even if it has 1% over time, I'm not a huge fan of those top coats. I think now C&D makes one. Maybe they made it differently. I don't know. But not a huge fan usually. If that wasn't enough, it gets worse. Okay, so what happens is, the good companies, the big, like C&D, Light Elegance, LCN, I don't know, whatever, Gelish, whatever, they stay well on the nails. But the new gel polishes that are coming, they're imported from overseas, are amazing. They have beautiful colors, they have neons, they shine, they bond to the nail really, really well. People are wearing those gels for like 4 weeks, no problem, no chipping whatsoever. It sounds like a good idea, right? Well, what happens is, sadly, there are chemicals in these products that are responsible for bonding to the natural nail, and they bond really, really well. But sadly, they are highly, highly allergenic. So Jim McConnell from Light Elegance tested some of the products that are on the market. Sadly, I think it was in UK or whatever. Turns out that the chemicals that were highly, highly allergenic were in amounts that are way too high, and the labels did not really state the exact amounts because the labels don't really tell you anything. And really sadly, when companies are importing products, it's not like there is some kind of a lab that takes every product and tests it for safety. No, they just take the documents that they receive from the manufacturer, from the factory, and they're like, okay, this is what it's in the product. But when actually those products got tested, turns out that what's inside was completely different. So yes, those products are amazing. They look beautiful. They come off even nice, like they're like miracle. But sadly, they were making some people really, really allergic to the point where they were at first having great results, and then they were all of a sudden developing like a separation like we see here, but also a very thickened hypoallergenic. So that nail was completely much thicker, completely separated, and bacterial infections underneath, because again, it's a colored polish. You don't see what's happening around the nails. Another thing, the problem is that when people pick the product off, you would think, okay, well then if I peel it off, then it's not going to get on the skin by soaking or by dust. But what happens is when you peel it off, you are thinning the nail. So these products are meant to be applied on a healthy nail, not a damaged nail, first of all, because damaged nail is a thin nail. So as the nail becomes thinner, the closer the product gets to the nail bed, which is a living skin. And then that living skin gets those allergens, and then the whole nail like separates from the nail bed and starts throbbing and things like that. So sadly, what happens normally is, this is very common, people kind of go, okay, well, I'm allergic to this product, so I'm just gonna find another product. But the problem is not usually with the product, but the problem is with the method of using the product. So when people don't correct their technique, they are going to jump onto another product, and because they haven't fixed anything, they're just going to get allergic to another product. And this is where it gets even worse and worse, because then first you're allergic to a product A, then you get allergic to product B, and then you're going to get allergic to ingredient C. And these ingredients are sometimes so similar to each other that some of them are better and some of them are a little more allergenic. But when this happens, your body eventually reacts to something that's even very similar to the past product that you've used. And there's only so many, obviously, ingredients available for the manufacturers or for the factories to use. And now there's a big thing about the HEMA ingredient, like HEMA, which is also like a bonding ingredient, that people are producing HEMA-free, but it's not a problem with HEMA. HEMA is okay when it's used in, I don't know, 1 or 2% or something. But the problem is when HEMA is not, when it's too much HEMA, or you are getting exposed to uncured product with HEMA. So this is the issue. If you would like to find out more about it, I would highly suggest going to Light Elegance channel. Jim McConnell, he's a chemist. He has a very good explanation about the allergic reactions and what's happening, and this is very serious. So, and it's getting more and more prevalent out there. And another thing that I wanted to mention, like this person said that she feels that her nails are now kind of normal, so maybe she can try something else. I personally would not use anything, because this can get so bad eventually that you won't be able to touch anything even through gloves. I know people that are so highly allergic to these products that they cannot even touch shellac bottles with their gloves on, closed bottles. So every time you are kind of pushing the envelope, you get more and more allergic to it, and eventually that's what happens. I had one time reaction on my hands. I was using gloves and I was filing a product that my client came in with. And I actually emailed even Doug Schun, who's another chemist who's fantastic, and I was freaking out because this can put me out of business completely. So what happened was I was filing out the product, and 2 or 3 days later, my hands just started to feel dry. Just like I almost, like, let's say, cleaned all the windows in the house, the floors with bleach without any gloves. And eventually my skin started peeling. I didn't have any redness or anything like that. It happened once, and I thought, like everybody else, it was just a coincidence. Maybe I touched something, like I, cleaned something without gloves, whatever. And then I put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, oh my God. Because what happens is latex or nitrile gloves do not protect us from those chemicals, believe it or not. So you have to be very careful. Even me as a professional, I have to be careful how I remove clients' products, because if their products, if they come from somewhere else and they do their nails themselves and they're using products that are not formulated properly with highly allergenic chemicals, even my gloves are not they're not protecting my hands. And if that happens often enough, eventually, like I said, you can develop such a bad reaction or such a bad allergy that you won't be able to touch anything. And I know people in the industry, it just ended their career. So now they are even allergic to even hypoallergenic products, because hypoallergenic products, usually what that means is that the product has less allergenic chemicals, and usually people won't get allergic to it. But that doesn't mean that if someone is already allergic, they probably will be allergic to even hypoallergenic products. So I would be very careful. And what I'm seeing here with her nails is that this is still not normal skin. And you know what, guys, if you are still with me, my goodness, thank you so much for watching, because again, I've been talking for a very long time, but this is really, really important. So as you can see here, you can still see a lot of redness, and here you still see some exposed, like, fresh skin. And what happens, and another thing that is very problematic, is that people do these really fancy manicures where they cut the skin around the nails and they abrade the skin around the nails, or they pick, and sometimes healthy skin won't be very upset, but if the skin is if that barrier is broken and that skin is broken, it's just going to react to any chemicals very, very badly. So, this is a lesson that many people had to learn, and sadly, put a lot of people out of business. And what I'm seeing here too is that the nails, she was saying that she overfiled, or she picked off the product. So again, be very, very careful with that. I personally, when clients come in with peeled off product, if they do it too many times, I can't put any more product on them, because what happens is the nail gets thinner and thinner. So let's say if you have, 50 to 100 layers, let's say you have 50 on average of keratin layers, or layers of the nail. So each time you remove, let's say it gets bonded to a few layers, and then you pick it off, so you're losing and losing and losing layers. So eventually you end up with, 20 or something layers. So that product is going to seep through those 20 layers, and your whole nail bed underneath and the matrix and everything else is going to be exposed to those chemicals. So that's very dangerous. So, sadly, I probably turned you off from gel, and sadly, rightfully so, because, like I said, I've seen too much. And, it's one thing, put yourself in my position. It's one thing if you want to risk with your nails, and then you can kind of be upset with yourself and say, shoot, I didn't do this right. Now I'm paying price. But can you imagine this happening to like 20 of my clients? And I know salons that that happened to them. Like they had 5, 6, 7, 8 clients coming in with the whole nail separated and thickened and hurting nails and bacterial infections underneath. Because what happens is when the nail is separated and you have a dark product on the nail that light doesn't go through, you can't see what's going on underneath. So this is perfect opportunity for a bacteria to grow, because bacteria, certain bacteria, like very moist and very dark environment. So if this is separated, this would be perfect environment for a bacteria to grow, and disaster happens. So do I have any, advice or solution? Yes, we all know it's beautiful to have completely dried nails after a manicure and they last longer and everything else. I would suggest, going to a very skilled nail technician if you are interested in getting your nails done. And a lot of those quickie salons, no, they're not educated about these products, and they just, they're just making a living, but sadly it's playing with fire, and very often they're not using legit products that, are really approved. Like personally, I will not, use anything that's not made, and I know the companies personally, like I know that there are long-term, companies, and I know the right people to ask what the company is, where's the company from. So legit companies that make products in US factories or European factories. Otherwise, I will not touch the product, because what happens is nowadays is that some small companies are buying product in bulk from, overseas, and then they just rebottle it in the US. And they very often even tell you that they're, designed in USA or they're made. Sometimes they just lie, and I've seen that. And sometimes what happens is that, they don't even know that they have dangerous products on hand, because they never take the product to chemist and they don't have it, checked out. So they just believe what it says on the label, and the products are working and they're great, but it's very, very risky. So I'm very sorry for having to kind of burst a lot of bubbles and no pun intended, right? Burst a lot of blisters. But this is what's happening in the industry, and this is a very, very serious problem, and I think it's going to get worse, because more and more products are hitting even the grocery store shelves, and people want to save money. Obviously, they want to do things themselves, and I have nothing against doing your nails yourself. I don't blame you very often, right? That's how I started in this industry, because I couldn't find a good person to do my nails, so I started doing it myself. But this is something that is very, very problematic, because again, once you get allergic reactions like this, it usually gets worse. So what I would suggest, it really is not doing anything with the nails, using some kind of product that will coat the skin, so like a Rescue RX, or sometimes like a gloves in a bottle or something. It's like a cream that is, I forgot about it. So something that will really help your skin to be able to heal and protect itself. So rebuilding the skin barrier, making sure that the nails are nice and healthy, that you're not removing the layers. So really babying the skin, and using Vaseline. Vaseline is an amazing product, because it really, people are not allergic to it. It's a very pure product, believe it or not. And by the way, another, oh my God, very, very, very important thing. Vegan products. I see it everywhere. People think that just because a product is vegan is somehow better. But all these chemicals that I'm talking about that are highly allergenic, they're all vegan too, because they're all chemicals that are made in factories. They're non-animal based products. So just because something is vegan and natural, or however, whatever, it doesn't mean that these products are safe. So all the products that I kind of have seen that a lot of people got allergic to, yeah, they're all vegan and clean and however, whatever, because there is no really a proper description on clean nail products. So Very, very sad. So that's why I choose to use, again, in the salon, yes, and those brands are boring sometimes. You know, they don't have the colors and everything else. And that's why I'm so afraid sometimes of the indie brands, because I've seen actually very similar thing quite a few years ago. If you guys are into, you know, nail polish scene, I don't want to name names, but there was a company producing a nail polish in the USA, small company, that somehow, I don't know exactly what happens, but people were having major allergic reactions to their nail polishes, a regular nail polish too. So that's why, I mean, I stick with very well-known companies. I don't care they're boring. You know, it's good enough for me. And hypoallergenic products, I highly suggest C&D. I highly suggest Light Elegance. They're very trusted, very good brands. Light Elegance is for nail professionals, and also Dazzle Dry. Their products are also hypoallergenic. So these are the products I choose to work with because they're less risky, and I really pay attention to how I work. I make sure that I work very, very clean, and I always talk to my clients and I ask them if they had any, you know, any redness, anything weird going on with their nails, because that's a huge red flag. Anyway, please let me know what you think about this topic, and please forward this video to anyone who is thinking about using gel polish, or who has used, or who's going to the salon as well, because a lot of nail professionals don't know about these things. So if you are researching a salon, ask them which products they're using. If they're just using some random white bottle nail polishes, I would stay away. I would ask them about allergic reactions and how they deal with it. Have they had anyone, you know, experiencing that? How would they know that someone is allergic? Just ask questions. Also ask questions about sanitation, how they're, because you know what, when people are passionate, when they want the best for their clients, they love to talk about it, right? Like me right now. I've been talking for how many minutes now? Almost 40 minutes. It's ridiculous. So, you know, if someone is passionate, if someone wants the best for their clients, they're gonna love to talk about it. So make sure that the person can communicate with you and it's very happy to explain what they're doing and why they're doing those things. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your interest in this topic. Please let me know if you've had any allergic reactions and what happened if that ever went away and things like that. So thank you so much again for watching. We'll see you soon. And please send in those pictures. They're really, really important topics to cover. Bye.